See, we run into this very quickly when we have nuanced conversations. This idea of this aggressive kind of right versus wrong. If you don't agree with me, you're absolutely wrong and you're bad or you're stupid. We need to step away from this because this is a very nuanced conversation, yet it affects each and every one of us. If you are starting a business, if you run a business, if you work for a business, you are interacting, or if you're just a person in the world, you are interacting with copyrights each and every day, and most people do not understand the nuances of them. I am not supporting a giant multi-billion-dollar corporation, which also, if you look into Patagonia, everything they don't reinvest into their business goes into a 501c3 to help with climate change. So they're not exactly the big bad here. But the idea that you're calling people clowns because they're on the wrong side of an argument, that is not inherently, like, you can't say that somebody did something wrong, but because they did it wrong against a corporation, that it's not wrong. That's how you lose labor unions. That's how you lose copyright structures. That's how you lose these protections that have been put in place in order to protect the small organizations, the small people. And just because it happens to be a corporation that is exercising their rights in this situation doesn't mean that they are inherently wrong. And furthermore, it is confusing because, again, if Patagonia was starting like a camping food brand or a entertainment copyright, she would have more legs to stand on. But she went after the clothing category within a clothing brand where the category, the branding, the coloring, all of it is very similar to its original source. And if you go back to my last video, there's a reason for that. She is actively co-opting the brand values of Patagonia. She has built her brand alongside Patagonia. And again, I'll say it again, if Patagonia was an oil company, she would not be doing this. And so it is confusing. It is confusing on a market standpoint, maybe not from the chronically online like we are, but people would confuse that. And Patagonia has to protect its brand as much as Patagonia has to protect her brand. So if somebody else came out with a Patricia Gonia and went even further down the rabbit hole of parody or satire, you can bet your ass Patagonia is going after that.